Okay, now we'll study something about the mammary gland. The mammary gland, it is also called as the breast, and there are two breasts in an adult. And this breast, superiorly, it is going to have the second rib, and inferiorly, it is going to have the sixth or the seventh rib, and in some people, it is going to be the fifth rib inferiorly. It is going to lie on the material in the chest, which you call it as fascia. And this fascia, top of the fascia, there is going to be a muscle, what you call it as the major muscle of the chest, which you call it as pectoralis major muscle. And this breast is going to be supported by a ligament which is going to run between the skin and the fascia. We call that as the suspensory ligament, and this suspensory ligament, it is also called as Cooper's ligament. Now, this is the ligament which is going to completely support the structure of the breast, because it is a muscular portion. And there is going to be a conical shaped structure, or where you call it as the projection, which is called as the nipple. And this nipple is surrounded by the black portion, which are nothing but the modified sweat glands, and it is also called as areola. Now, this breast is divided, or it is composed of many lobes. Okay, nearly 15 to 20 lobes are present inside this breast. And in between these lobes, we have the tissues where you call it as an adipose tissue. Now, the breast is composed of 15 to 20 lobes, and these lobes are supported with the help of a tissue, what you call it as an adipose tissue. Now, let's study something about the lobes. Now, each and every lobe is going to have more than 15 to 20 lobules. Okay, single lobe is going to have a structure where we call it as the lobules. Okay, nearly 15 to 20, and sometimes it is going to be even 20 to 40 lobules are present in single lobe. Now, when we study about the structure of a lobule, okay, this structure of the lobule is going to have clusters of cells, what we call it as alveoli. And this alveoli is surrounded by the cells which you call it as myoepithelial cells. Okay, we are studying about the structure of a lobule. Inside the lobule, there are going to be clusters of cells which you call it as the alveoli, and this alveoli is going to surrounded by cells which you call it as myoepithelial cells, or where you call it as acini cells. And these are the cells which are going to produce this milk, and this milk is going to enter from these cells into small tubes, what you call it as ductules. And now from the acini cells, it is coming into the ductules. Okay, now from the ductules, now these ductules will join together and it will form a single duct. Okay, and this duct we call it as intraduct. Okay, intratubule duct also we can say, or we even call it as the intraduct. Okay, now like this, many intraducts will join together and they will form another duct which you call it as extraduct. Okay, or where you call it as an extratubular duct. Okay, now just recall myoepithelial cells. From the myoepithelial cells, the milk is going to get secreted. The milk is going to enter into the tubes, small tubes, what you call it as ductules. From the ductules, it is going to enter into this intratubular duct. So first is going to be this acini, second is going to be the ductule, third is going to be the intratubular duct, fourth is going to be the extratubular duct. Okay, Now like this we have many extratubular ducts, okay, and all these extratubular duct will join to form a structure which you call it as subsegmental duct. Okay, all the extratubular duct will join to form a structure which you call it as the subsegmental duct. Okay, now many subsegmental ducts will join together to form a structure which you call it as the segmental duct. Okay, so the sixth portion where the milk is going to enter, we call it as the segmental duct. Now from the segmental duct it is going to enter. Now the segmental duct has come. So all these segmental duct will enter into a structure which you call it as the lactiferous sinus. Okay, so one segmental duct is going to be present. This segmental duct will enter into a sinus where you call it as the lactiferous sinus. Okay, the sinus is called as lactiferous sinus, and this lactiferous sinus will enter into a duct which you call it as the collecting duct. Okay, from the collecting duct, now many collecting ducts will join together and it will form a duct which you call it as the lactiferous duct, and this lactiferous duct is the one which is going to enter into a nipple region. Okay, so just recall. So the first one you call it as the myoepithelial cells or the acne cells. Then it enters into the ductules. From the ductules it is entering into the intratubular duct. From intratubular to extratubular duct. From extratubular duct it enters into the subsegmental duct. From the subsegmental to the segmental. From the segmental to the lactiferous sinus, from the lactiferous sinus to the collecting duct, and from the collecting duct it is entering into the lactiferous duct. From there it enters into the nipple.